Okay, hello and welcome to a video. A very interesting video, I think it's going to be. Today we're going to have a look at a weird little game called CONFIG-ROM. And I don't really know how to describe this. Like, it's a game, but it's not. And, like, I don't know what you really say about this, but so I have found this again. This is the box art of the game, and this is the only photo of this I could find on the internet, which is not great. I don't know why. I guess this game is decently difficult to find, and I'm not sure why that is, and I also have an idea of why that is, and you will see. But yeah, it's just called CONFIG-ROM, and this is the front art, and it doesn't really tell us much, but you can see up here it says that this is 4-panel comic creation software, and in a way, yes it is, and in a way it is not. It is very interesting, and I'm not really sure what to make of it, so we're just gonna start. And so I'm gonna do the FM Towns version, which is good and bad. There is on the same disk, there's a Windows version as well, and it works on 95 and 3.1. And oh, do I have to load Towns OS? Anyways, the reason I want to use the Towns version is because it's the one I used first, and to be honest, Windows emulation is just not great in general right now. Like Windows 95 emulation, like this is a kind of a heavy program on the CPU because it needs to do a lot of dummy things, and there is a way I'm supposed to leave this, and I forget. Oh, it's right control insert. Oh God, what key? What key? I remember there's a key. Resume. R. Well. Okay. Oh, do we have to reset it? I apologize. There we go. Okay. Now we're gonna try this again. So, it does run a little faster on Windows. And when I say a little, I mean, like, quite a bit, actually. But it's not like the most fast program in the world or anything. It's a very old, like, there's like FMV and stuff, and it requires a hard disk, which is kind of somewhat unusual for most FM Towns games. I've seen they usually just run off a disk or floppy disk or CD, but this one, no, you need a hard drive, a working hard drive. So, yes, I forgot. I don't have Towns OS, which is the software, or Towns system software, whatever you want to call it. I don't have that installed on the hard drive, but I do have a disk of it. So you just gotta load up that disk first, and then do this, and then there we go. So, quite unassuming, you open it, and there's just a thing, but you can see if you go in here, there's a bunch more files. It's just for the sake of the Towns one. And so, this is all like the Windows files, I think. There's also a text file, which, of course, this can't open, so. Anyways, let's just open the game. And I will show you what happens. Okay, so there was a thing there. CONFIG-ROM. CONFIG-ROM. Yes, indeed. Okay, and it starts by, I call this the interrogation. It's not really an interrogation, it's just, it asks you a couple of interesting questions, and it uses these to determine how you're gonna play this game, which is a interesting mechanic, for certain. So let's translate quickly. Okay, yes. So this one is, are you using an expensive or a cheap computer? So my computer, well, let's consider, because this would be emulated like of an older Towns computer. I think I have like 64 megabytes of RAM. That would be pretty expensive in those days. But my actual computer that I am running this on is expensive as well. So I think we'll just say it is. Okay, and now we get this this short cutscene here, which confuses me to no end. There's a lot of religious figures all lined up. There's Vishnu and I don't remember the guy is. There's Buddha. And there's the man himself, Jesus. So confusing way to open your game that is supposed to be a comic creator, I guess, as according to the box. But from what I understand after reading the questions, I don't think this is supposed to be comics. Anyways. Are you an honest person? Yes, I am honest, or no, I'm a liar. I don't know how to answer that. That's a very interesting question, because I'm both of these things. We'll just say I'm a liar. Maybe I'm lying about that. And are you a video professional, a pro, or amateur? So, I mean, I did a lot of work at school. I studied video stuff, so I guess I'm a professional. Alright, so you can configure 48 stories as you like. You will do all the casting yourself. If you could do this, you will become a film director. Lie. Apparently that's a lie. Great. Okay, and now we are in the main part of the game. Yes, this is the interface that we're about to become accustomed to if you are going to play this for a decent amount of time. So we have some options to choose. We have a lot of options, and I am honestly not going to bother translating these titles. Because a couple of them, if I remember, this one is not not the best title, but it's just very interesting. So let's pick. We need to pick 4. We do have to pick all 4 of these. So these are the, I guess the panels of our comics or whatever. So we're gonna try that one and try this one. I think I picked this one a lot, but I'm gonna pick that one. And yes, I know what the title of this means, by the way. If you translate it, you'll understand what it means. Okay, and now we get to cast who is gonna be in our films here. So we can pick whoever we want from this list, and you can right-click on them, and you'll get a little bit of information about them that you can translate. Like this one, I remember it says something like, he has a horse-like face, which, I mean, you can see by the very low-quality icon that is true. So there's like cartoony style. There's a bunch of different styles of characters. So you got a lot of, I guess, variety in choosing who you want to be there. So we're gonna choose little monkey sort of guy there. And you'll also notice, of course, a few, okay, more than a few racial stereotypes, which is just a product of its time, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so he's our main character, so he's going to be in all of them, as you can see. And so we'll get the Panda Man to star there. And you notice I just put a thing in there. You can say it's clear and auto. If you click auto, it'll actually choose all the members for you. I think totally at random. You can clear it if you don't like that choice or if you click the wrong thing. So anyways, it's pretty much just a guessing game from this point. Like, just choose. You choose, get what you get, and you don't get upset. And you can recast old members as well, like the Panda Man we can put here, but I'm gonna put someone else. Like this bunny. Yeah, sure, why not? For this one, I want to see this guy do it. So you can see we've selected all our choices, and I mean, this is the quit button. We can go back now, but dear Lord, let's just make it happen. So now the screen starts flickering, and it is making our little comic film thing, which is why I said not really a comic. It is like animated. It is 4-panel, but it's like an animated thing. Okay, so we got our first one here. This is about to start, and you can see the little hard drive light in the emulator is flickering. So it copies all the files to the hard drive for some reason instead of streaming them directly. Maybe that was quicker, but although it would have been inconvenient because I don't think many Towns users had hard drives on the machines. Correct me if I'm wrong, or at least in the early days. Anyways, you can see some very silly things happening there for about a few seconds, and then it just suddenly stops. And that is all of these. All of these are like that. And the dialogue is very explicit and strange. And so it's left me curious about a lot of things. But I'm gonna let this finish before I go into my my little dialogue here about what this is all about, because I don't know. What the fuck was that? I am eating ramen, by the way, at the same time as I'm doing this. I haven't eaten all day. Ramen fills me up, man. Love that shit. Okay, so we're on the third one. Yeah, okay. Oh no, I forgot about this, that I chose it. Yeah, so okay, so we've done the 4 things, and now we're gonna see if we get sent to heaven or hell. And yeah, okay, so we got sent to hell, as you can see. Now, I've seen the clip on YouTube, and it seems they actually got the better ending, or like progressed further in this, which I have never, ever been able to do with no matter what combination I use in this game. It has got to be a very particular thing that you do. Because now it's going to show us, like, our fate, I think is what this part is, or something like that. Yeah. Ugh. Got the tongue chopped off. Alright, and we're sent back to the menu to try again, pathetically, which is great. So, yeah, most of your time playing this game is going to be shit like that. I have played this game for hours on end. I really mean that. I know that sounds crazy, because it is. But no combination, no matter what I do, there is nothing I can do that makes any of this, like, come out with a good outcome. Let's just do that, and we're gonna auto this. Talk over the rest of this. So, my contention with this is, I mean, we all know that video games are very expensive. They're expensive to make, right? I mean, these days anyone can really do it. In the days when this was being made, it was a bit harder. People could, but it would cost a lot of money for them to go, like, out of their way, because you'd have to buy all this stuff, or in the case of this thing, this is probably all, like, made with whatever company this is. What the fuck? Anyways, this is probably that company's own, like, game engine thing, because I've never seen another game that uses, like, something that looks like this even remotely. And the big question I have with this is, I know, judging from the, you know, explicit dialogue, the Rudy Tooty kind of nature of it, where it's like it's not really giving a shit, that this game is obviously a joke or a comedy of some kind, right? Like it's a comedy game. You're not supposed to take it that seriously. And, you know, a lot of things like games from Dojin circles and stuff are like that. But my contention is, this is not a Dojin game. This is a retail game with a big box that you could, I mean, presumably go out to a store and you could buy this. So, that baffles me, because this is, as I saw earlier, there's only one other listing of this. It's on an old FM Towns, like, just archive of, like, games that came out. There's, like, very little information about them and a price. And the price I saw set for this is 5,800 yen, which isn't as bad as some games that came out in the day. 5,800 yen is, like, you could equivalent it to, like, 58 American dollars. It's not as bad as some games that came out in that time, but it is also kind of expensive. I mean, if you have an FM Towns already, you're probably going to be paying a bit of a premium, unless you were getting it in, like, the late 90s, in which case you probably weren't. But, like, this is an earlier, like, CD-ROM game, right? And I mean, I guess it would work on, like, Windows 95 too, and that stuff was getting cheaper, but, like, still, $58 for this is kind of hard to ask. So I'm wondering if this was, like, associated with a comedy group or something, or if this really just was, like, some one-off thing that made no money and, like, barely anyone remembers its existence. because this really just makes no sense to me. How this could have gotten... It's more to me like how this could have gotten published as a CD in a big box, like in a store somewhere. You could buy this. Someone bought this. Someone probably got this for Christmas, like, or whatever holidays and stuff. Like, someone probably got this as a gift and was probably maybe kind of disappointed with it, because this is it's hilarious for me to see now. But I just like imagining like the cost, all like, would it in that day, I don't think it would have really been worth it, right? And maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. I very certainly well could be. Maybe this is like, maybe 5,800 yen is like a decent price for this kind of thing. But it just does not seem like it. It feels like a very strange concept to sell to someone in general. Oh, this dude just got crucified. That's great. I don't get it. I get the joke of it, but I don't get how it came to be like published completely. Because this seems like the kind of game that someone makes as a joke and then submits to the game publisher, and the game publisher says, "We are going to lose money if you put this out." Because of all, like, especially, it seems to be self-published. That's the first thing I want to say, which is probably why it's kind of rare, because they probably didn't make or sell very many copies of this. I haven't been able to find anyone talking about it, as I already said. There's no one, like, mentioning this on the internet at all. This is just like a one-off, a fluke kind of game, and literally no one remembers it? Like, it doesn't that just seem weird? Right? You figure there's a lot of games out there on the internet and stuff, and there's a lot of games for the FM Towns, so there's like about 1,000 at least. And you figure at some point somewhere down the line, someone would have remembered this and wrote a little thing like, "Oh, this fucking weird game," like, even like, I played it at my friend's house or something. But no one like remembers this. It seems like it just kind of happened. Like, it just appeared out of thin air, and copies were made of it, and they just sometimes appear, but they're really hard to find. I I don't really understand. And I also, of course, want to say, like, I know a lot of weird things like this were made in the day. I am well aware of that fact, and I mean, I've certainly myself, I've made a lot of very odd pieces of media. I just have a struggle, like, picturing a studio making a CD that has this on it, like paying the money to do that, because that was a lot of money in the 90s to fucking manufacture a bunch of CDs like this and get all the boxes made and stuff. So whoever made this definitely had a somewhat of a confidence, like enough of a confidence to put this out. And I mean, clearly, if no one really talks about it anymore, which, I mean, I hate to say it, no one really does, then their ambition kind of didn't work. I can respect it. It's certainly got me talking about it all these years later, because someone's found a copy and posted it online, right? Like, I haven't imported this because the copies of this are so fucking rare and expensive. I would not even think to want to try to do that. So I'm very, very glad someone else has found a copy and then posted it online so that other people can play this. But at the end of the day, I am just very, very confused as to the purpose of this, how it was released. And it's one thing to like make a game and release it privately, and it's one thing to have like, you know, such a big box kind of thing. Was this like a joke? Was there only like 10 copies made or something, and they just made it so like they could have a laugh with their friends or something? Like, it's a very homemade looking production, but it's on a CD, so it's like professional aspect to it, right? Like, I don't know. Just knowing the little things I know about how game industry worked and things like that, I'm very confused as to how this was produced. And I want to say, like, if on the off chance you have ever played this, like you're from Japan or something, and you've played this, and you know any additional context about it, like, let me know. I mean, there's a very tiny chance, it seems, but I'm just kind of at a loss. All right, we're just gonna go through this last one, and then I'm gonna stop the recording and stuff. But like, with all the loading too, it would have been hard to. I feel like it would have been hard to sell this to someone, right? Like, was there a trade show where they showed this off? Was this just like a Dojin game? But at the same time, it was on CD. Like, you couldn't do CDRs or stuff at that time. At the time when this was made, I mean. And I'm also thinking now, this would have been early on in the days of Windows in Japan as well, right? Because it wasn't really too popular until 95. I mean, 3.1 had a footing there, but 95 is, well, I mean, I guess that's kind of how it was in America too. By the way, if I'm saying any shit and I'm like totally wrong, please feel free to fucking correct my ass. What the fuck? What's that box? Alright. What do you guys think? Heaven or hell? I'm thinking hell, probably. I don't know. Let's see. I'm excited. Really, I know what the outcome's gonna be. It's always gonna be hell. Yep. Wow, who could have guessed? This seems like an early, like, Macromedia director kind of game, but This was before that existed on Windows, I think. If I'm actually, no, I think I'm wrong about that. But it certainly wouldn't have existed on the towns, from what I understand. Whoa! On the beach? He chainsawed his head off on the beach. Alright. Well, that's enough for today. It's telling me to put the town's disk back in, which, I mean, I could just shut down the emulator, but fuck it all. I'll do as it says. So that's config-ROM. Yeah, if you know anything else about that, you can let me know, because I've got nothing. I've got no information. I've got nothing other than that one picture of box art. There's no other like box art or like a manual or anything that like would explain it. There's no like files on the disk that would explain. It is a mystery of a game. So if you know anything about it, and you have the knowledge of that and you're willing to share it with the world, please do. Thank you very much. I will, I would appreciate that.